Surprise, surprise, you don't need me to tell you this, but the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, happening right as we speak in Chicago, I think today is the last day, is a rousing success. No, it's a complete freak show. That's right. Everybody who's going to be attending, has already attended, has given a speech, is supporting it monetarily, seems to have something wrong in the head.
No way. I never would have guessed this.
I know. So I thought I'd go over a little bit of the information of what's been going on. I want to point out, obviously Stelios covered a bit of it on Tuesday, some of the ridiculousness. I wanted to go over a little bit of the ridiculousness and then some of the news coverage of what's been happening and some of the speeches that have been given. So first, just to confirm everything, yes, Harris is the official nominee now. She was nominated after about 2 weeks since Biden dropped out. So she is the ticket, as is Waltz. I don't know if we'd said that explicitly on the podcast, so I wanted to make sure that it is said explicitly.
Just in case you've been hiding under a rock, yeah? Yeah,
yes, Harris is the nominee. And there is some criticism of what her policies might look like, what Kamala Harris's America might look like, because there is a rebrand going on right now of the campaign. The way that they had to pivot and say that, no, we're not doing Joe Biden anymore, we're doing Kamala Harris, is interesting because now they're trying to make Kamala Harris both look competent, intense, and serious, while also being cool, hip, relatable, personable, a person that you could run into in the street and get along with and have a normal conversation with, and not a shrieking awful harpy.
Have you mentioned the fact that there was a report, I believe it was leaked to the press, of lots of Democrats were encouraging Kamala not to release her policies until after the election?
I'd not seen that. I thought you were going to talk about some of the reports that were coming from within her own campaign and within her own offices that she'd worked out while she was in the vice presidency, of people saying that she was an absolute nightmare to work with, swore at everybody constantly, was incredibly rude and difficult to get along with.
I could never see that. I mean, not our Kamala, no way.
Not our Kamala, no way. Not our Harris, no. The way he said that. No, I'd not been made aware of that. To be fair, what are her policies?
Well, she stole one from Donald Trump, didn't she? No tax on tips.
Yes, because I've seen some criticism from The Economist of what her foreign policy and what her economic policies might be, that say that they threaten to be even worse than Joe Biden's economic policies.
What's she doing? Just going around torching factories deliberately? How could it be worse?
Possibly stealing change from the homeless.
That's not going to.
I know that would win your vote. I know
it would improve the economy. Yeah,
but she is saying that she's going to be tough on the border. There was a recent advert at the beginning of August saying fixing the border is tough, and so is Kamala Harris, which completely ignores that while she was border czar, she let in 10 million illegal aliens.
That's no small number, is it? I mean,
I mean, there was 2 million in the entire time of Trump's presidency, and she also, which is the exact same number as Kamala Harris's known getaways. So I presume these are people they may have picked up, and then they somehow managed to evade being put back.
America's a big country.
Yes, but one of the things that's really funny to me, so obviously she's trying to be tough, she's trying to be serious, she's going to be the president that America needs to get it back on track, she's going to be the president that the country needs to make them serious on the geopolitical landscape again, which is what we were told that Joe Biden was going to be, but then he came out and was a dribbling, senile old man. So I don't know how that affected America's international standing, along with the Afghanistan disaster, of course.
Well, I suppose it does show that no matter who's in office, the government still runs mysteriously. It's almost like the president is not that powerful.
I mean, he is still president, let's not forget.
That's true.
What's he doing? They've basically admitted by having him drop out of the race that he's not fit for the presidency. So he's still president. Why is that?
He's filling a lot of diapers in his spare time.
That's what keeps the economy going. Is Joe Biden cleanup. So they've been posting weird videos like this, and yeah, I'm gonna say the weird word because yes, these people do come across to me as very strange, because their whole tactic has been trying to call JD Vance and Donald Trump and all of the people around them as being weird and trying to turn the conversation around and say that, oh, these are the weirdos who are trying to put politics in your living room. These are the weirdos who are trying to... Well, of course it's projection, because... I mean, look at this. This is the sort of videos that they're putting up. Oh, Doritos acquired. I got you.
Is it corn nuts over there,
Isn't this it?
That's the big.
There you go. That's funny. You see corn nuts over there?
Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with something like this. Well, yeah, they're pretending to be friends. They're pretending to be normal people going to a supermarket and passing each other crisps. But it's the fact that it's so phony. It's so fake. It's so disingenuous that these are just normal people. We're just normal, just like you. We could be friends with you. Look at how normal and cool we are. Comes across as, well, again, fake.
I think that also going for that style of campaign just doesn't work, because as you can see in the background, wherever they go, they have a massive security detail. You can't walk into a room and the atmosphere not change if you come with a bunch of suited and armed
big
people.
Posse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've done it before. This is basically a repeat of videos that they've done. So this seems to be a specific tactic they're going for to try and make themselves look normal. But this one's even worse because, I mean, you can see the entourage and people filming them going, we like eating snacks just like you do. Hello, fellow Americans. Aren't we normal? Are you going to be voting for us? We've got Doritos. Do you like Doritos too? Well, then you better vote Harris.
I like your favourite seed oil snack. Same as you. Vote for me.
Again, it comes across as fake, corporate, phony, whatever you want to describe it as, but it's very strange to me, but that's politics. All politics is fake. It's all people who probably hate you in secret, trying to be your friend, and then, you know, once they've got your vote, they'll stab you in the back.
Trust your gut.
As they always do. This is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen, which is the vice presidential nominee, Tim Waltz, talking about how the Democrats are going to get politics out of your living room.
Some of us who have less hair and are old enough can remember when you could go to Thanksgiving, watch a Steelers game with your relatives, and not complain about politics the whole time. Not be on each other's neck. Because you shared a commitment to democracy, a commitment to personal freedom, a commitment to public education, a commitment to infrastructure.
Who's not committed to infrastructure?
It's very strange, these talking points. Like, you'd be sat at the dinner table talking about your commitment to infrastructure together and your commitment to democracy. Like, they're all sat around the dinner table, and obviously a typical American conversation is you're all discussing the particularities of democracy in America by Alexa de Tocqueville. That was the average.
They're eating your Thanksgiving dinner, and you're just like, so, big fan of the sanitation system in the city? It's lovely, isn't it? Oh, I love it. It's great.
I love that the toilets flush. Do you remember when the toilets didn't flush? Oh, it was a nightmare. Thank God for the Democrats. Under the nasty Republicans, the toilets never flushed. It was basically New Delhi down here. And, yeah, it's very ironic and very strange, again, that sort of talking point would be coming from a Democrat. These are the people who have been flooding your country with illegal immigrants for years at this point. These are the people that are very eager for your dinner table to be filled with conversation of how your son is about to be your daughter, about how your son thinks that he might like peepees, actually. All these sorts of strange, uncomfortable conversations.
Pushing politics in schools more generally as well.
Pushing politics in schools, how your son has come back from school and he's 6 years old, but he went into the local library at the school and found a picture of people performing fellatio on one another. These are the people who wanted to put that in, but they're trying to flip it around and pretend that they're the normal ones, that this is just how politics has always worked in the country. It's the same tactic that Schmidt and other people have pointed out, that in the democratic conversation, they want to present some subjects as being settled, so that they're beyond the touch of normal conversation.
In politics, almost nothing is ever settled. That's sort of the realpolitik of it, is that nothing is sacrosanct in politics. Everything is subject to change, which is one of the problems of politics, really, isn't it?
Well, it's all about the competing vision of how you should live your life, the governance of a particular area, and that at the base of it can descend into violence, essentially, two existential threats to one another facing off, committing violence to try and assert their vision of the world. And so politics is basically the polite facade that you pop on top of that. And this whole method is saying, no, we've settled this, put it aside. This, you don't want to talk about this at the dinner table with your weird uncle, do you? So don't worry about it. We've got it, guys. But again, these are the people who want your son to know that it's okay for him to chop his winky off, because at 7 years old, he's more than capable of knowing whether he's a girl or a boy. And Waltz himself is a strange figure because he seems to be somewhat of a compulsive liar. Now, I've seen him make a lot of claims that people have fact-checked about very small things here and there that don't seem to matter as much. But the big one that I've seen people point out that I didn't know when I was talking about Waltz before was that he has been accused of stolen valor through his claims regarding to his military career. So he served in the National Army Guard for 24 years, but he retired from his artillery battalion and abandoned more than 500 men under his command 2 months before it deployed to Iraq in 2005. Now, from reports that I've seen who spoke to the people who were under his command at the time, it was a bit of a what the hell moment when they were all about to be deployed, and he's like, anyway, guys, bye. See ya. Hope you don't get blown up.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want in someone ruling, commanding, 500 people. So, I mean, I'm kind of glad for the people he was commanding that he wasn't there, because if he's craven, then it's better for everyone he not be involved. But he should also never be able to escape that reputation if that's what he wanted to do. Especially
because there has been a lot of misreporting and, as they say in here, him misspeaking during his first run for statewide office in 2018 when he claimed that he'd carried weapons of war in war, and he'd earlier implied during his congressional races that he deployed to a combat zone such as Afghanistan, when in fact he had deployed to Italy briefly as part of Operation Enduring Freedom before leaving the National Guard. So he has done some service, but not the service that he was implying.
He wasn't. I know Italy can be a bit dangerous sometimes, especially if you're driving, but it's not a war zone.
Maybe it was when he was there. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not an expert on geopolitics. So, yeah, that's very strange. Should immediately mean that a lot of people don't trust him, because if he's willing to lie by omission, lie by ignorance, then that's not a great sign. But then again, he is a politician. There's also this incredible Rolling Stone tweet that they put out. That's the genius work of this one small bit of Harris Waltz merch. The camouflage hat reclaims the rural and southern identity that mainstream Democrats have long ignored, with this one woman in a Waltz Harris camouflage hat. So more hats equals more votes.
Isn't that a relative of Kamala Harris?
It might be.
Was it her niece or something like that? She has the weird artsy girl tattoos that her relative had.
I don't know.
But if it is a member of the Harris family, it makes it funnier that that's the...
But it says that Dems are finally embracing country music fans.
What, by having a camouflage hat?
By having a single camouflage hat on sale.
I've listened to a fair amount of country music. I don't remember many country musicians wearing Democrat Party camo hats.
Again, if you want to talk about Southern identity, I mean, these are the same sorts of people, along with many other mainstream Democrats, who were cheering on pulling down Robert E. Lee statues, probably very, very happy to have you harassed for having a Confederate flag outside of your house or on your window or something, but they got a camouflage hat on. Come on, they got a camouflage hat. Can you say no? Can you say no? Yes, you can say no. And the only tactic that they really have against somebody like J.D. Vance is calling him weird for pictures like this. He's weird. J.D. Vance poses with 3 high school girls in a boys' restroom as they pretend to use the urinals as he plays out the Democrats' vision of America. Right here, women at the urinals while a man watches on. Yeah, he does look a bit goofy and a bit funny in this picture. Mm-hmm. But this is, I mean, he's in high school.
Yeah.
This is what they can do. So Tim Waltz basically lies about his military record. J.D. Vance has fun with girls in high school. Now, there has been some theories that they might just be jealous that J.D. Vance evidently knew women in high school and was friends with them, which many Democrat voters can't say that they had the same.
They usually like to become them.
They like to become the women. You are correct. But then again, that also is part of the sting because they're thinking, God, that could have been me standing at that urinal. So the whole weird tactic, that whole campaign where they're trying to call him weird, which was started by Waltz, really comes across as untrue, disingenuous, mainly because, they're freaks. They're dysgenic weirdos.
These are lyrics to Creep by Radiohead.
It's the new extreme version that I'm going to be writing and covering. But let's go over to the DNC right now. So one of the things that Stelios reported on earlier on this week is that Planned Parenthood were providing free vasectomies and abortion pills during the Democrat National Convention. And the pop-up care aligns with Kamala Harris's adamant abortion platform. Democrat nominee is in favor of legalizing abortion nationwide, so completely disregarding states' rights, putting it as part of the Constitution, probably signing it into the Bill of Rights, previously calling it a fundamental freedom in an MSNBC interview. Now, I'm somebody who thinks that abortion is demonic. I think you are killing children. I know that not everybody agrees with me on that, but I also have to be pragmatic and pragmatic when I say things like this, which is don't interrupt your enemies when they're making a mistake. On some level, wokeism, leftism, is a genetic phenomenon, shall we say. So if these people want to take themselves out of the gene pool, as sad and as awful as I think it is, I'm not going to stop them, because there is nothing that I could do to stop them anyway. Obviously, it's evil that these children are being hurt in the process of doing so, but there's nothing that I can do to help those children, and these women being evil enough to do that means that maybe they shouldn't be having children in the first place. And you can tell how evil this whole thing is because they've got this abortion truck where apparently 25 have already been performed, and that was as of yesterday morning, so there'll have been more, probably double that since then. But I think actually James Kirkpatrick has an excellent tweet in regards to this, because let's see, Jack Posobiec went around asking these people, how many abortions have you had today? This woman screeches about it, and we on the right, we turn around and we say, haha, we really showed them. But let's be honest here, as James says, the attempt to shame these people or reveal true beliefs to them doesn't work. He says, good clickbait, but I guarantee she felt virtuous and high status afterwards. The only way you can actually challenge their self-image is a deadpan response like, I think it's good people like you kill their kids. Now, that's a bit too nasty for me.
It's not for me. I approve.
I know not for you. But for me now, when it's people who are saying, I'm never going to have children, you shouldn't have children, children are evil, children are bad, I will be turning to them, and this is something I've thought for a while now, and saying, good. You shouldn't have children. You'd be a terrible mother. You'd be a terrible father. You would neglect your children. You'd raise them to believe in the sick, disgusting things that you do, and it's better off that you completely take yourself out of the gene pool.
Well, when it comes to the welfare of children, I think speaking very bluntly to people who might potentially be parents who aren't suited to it and just say, yeah, I don't think you're good enough to be a parent. It's a brutal thing. It's very cutting. I think it cuts at a sort of almost biological level because mysteriously that's, one of the things we're, deeply programmed to do. And so saying these things might be unpleasant, but I think we should start saying them that, yes, if you believe in this insanity, if you believe in all of this nonsense that you can do and, you can change biology by merely thinking, then, yeah, you shouldn't be a parent. Absolutely.
And if you advocate and support abortion for everybody, if you think that killing your unborn children is a good thing, then yes, I wish that you hadn't got pregnant in the first place, because you shouldn't have been having children. Maybe you should have just been more careful. What's happened is tragic, but it's best that you don't pass your beliefs on to others. Of course, then you get to the other problem, which is a lot of these women are probably in care roles, probably in teaching roles, and at that point you get to the discussion of, well, you shouldn't be influencing other people's children to believe those things either.
Stay away from my kids.
Yeah, and
that should be the policy generally.
Yeah, and that's a policy question right there. Carrying on, there is the comedy coming from here, including these women who start the national anthem just a little bit too early, and that leads to this. They're not great singers in the first place. Apologies. You can hear in the background the track starting.
Whose broad strides.
I've even got a knife. I'm going to go full Van Gogh and cut off both ears.
You're going to go double Van Gogh.
That's right.
Times 2. So, yeah, I don't think they forgot the lyrics, but they did start too early, so very funny.
Funny that people who hate America can't even sing their own national anthem.
I'm not all that surprised, if I'm honest. There were these people standing around outside the Democrat National Convention who basically said, yes, we want the Great Replacement. If it could happen right now, it'd be amazing.
If I had my choice, in my perfect world, every Republican is out of the country and all the immigrants come in. That's what I want. It's never going to happen. That's what I want.
But we're all immigrants. We all came from somewhere else.
Right, so...
What's the qualifying for all the immigrants? Who's all the immigrants? This is
the whole world.
This is that opinion that people put forward that basically everybody's an undocumented American. Somewhere down the line, everybody's just an American in waiting. The country's big enough to take the entire population. If you crush them down into tiny particles and put them in an enormous blender, then America can actually fit trillions more people inside of it. So we should invite everybody. The second,
you an AI?
The second that Martians arrive, if the aliens finally descend, as they supposedly did in Mexico, but everybody ignores that because it was obvious BS. The second the aliens arrive, well, congratulations, you're an American, except for the Republicans. Then we can have boundaries on what does and doesn't mean American.
The way things are going in Britain, I might have to cross the southern border at this rate.
You'd probably have more luck than trying to apply legally. Then again, maybe not. Maybe not. There were people going up and giving speeches, repeating the bleach lie that during Donald Trump's presidency during the COVID period, that he said that people should inject bleach so that they could cure themselves of COVID. That's nothing that Donald Trump said. But these
Not
people
true as well.
lie. And a lot of the speeches seem to be harping just on Donald Trump. There doesn't seem to be much discussion of how America is going to be better under the Democrats, just saying that Donald Trump will literally come to your house and murder you and inject you with bleach into your eyeballs. So vote for us, because we're normal. We eat Doritos just like you. Yeah, well, guess what? Donald Trump eats McDonald's. Far more American. Far more American. People saying that Donald Trump would be able to weaponize the Department of Justice. More projection. This woman giving a little poem. Should we listen to the poem?
Sure, go on then.
We gather at this hallowed place because we believe in the American dream.
Oh, yeah.
We face a race that tests if this country we cherish shall perish from the earth, and if our earth shall perish from this country. It falls to us to ensure that we do not fall, for a people that cannot stand together cannot stand at all.
I'm sure it sounded great when she was practicing it in the mirror.
Didn't she mean hallowed, not hollowed?
Hallowed, and yes. What does the earth, and if our earth shall perish from this country? Like the United States is
soil disappears overnight.
The United States is going to untether from the planet and float off into space.
Like Borderlands 2, where there's a city levitates. You know, Bioshock Infinite, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
America takes off into the skies.
They're not sending their best.
No.
I think we can all accept they're not sending their best. Although, this isn't to say that, trust me, I saw some of the clips coming from the RNC. There was a lot of cringe coming from there as well. Big American political conventions are non-stop cringe fests. And it doesn't matter which side of the aisle that you're on, you are not immune to it. And it's the same over here as well, whenever you get the big Labour meeting each year, which I'm sad I don't think that we had any edit of it this year.
We didn't, no.
No, they're always horrifying and cringeworthy.
My favourite moment was when they said, "Comrade Chair," and they panned to a guy in a wheelchair. That never failed to tickle me.
Oh, here's my favourite one, though. Here's my favourite one. This funny-looking gentleman. Here we go.
As a
Jared
Redditor, gamer, entrepreneur, and Swiftie from the free state of Colorado, I'm excited by Kamala Harris's vision for protecting and expanding our personal freedom, internet freedom, and economic freedom. Democrats welcome weird, but we're not weirdos telling families who can and can't have kids who to marry or how to live our lives. These Project 2025 people, like Trump and Vance, are not just weird, they're dangerous. They want to take us backwards, but we aren't going back, like ever, ever, ever.
I wouldn't let him near my children.
As a Redditor, I even got the Taylor Swift reference, but that is the lamest thing for a man of his age to reference.
What about Connor's age?
That too.
Connor's going to have to revoke his Swiftie card after that one.
Ooh.
So he's a Redditor, gamer, and a Swiftie, so someone should be checking his hard drive. Anyway, what's the reporting been saying about this? Well, Oprah Winfrey, who I still don't understand the appeal of Oprah. I don't understand why she is such an icon in America. But she gave a speech there, and she described herself as a political independent who always votes her values. Her values...
It just so happens that they're always Democratic, aren't they?
Yeah, it just so happens they always toe the Democrat Party line. According to the Washington Post, Winfrey offered a largely apolitical speech.
And you can't talk about politics in an apolitical way.
So the Washington Post is towing the line with this new Democratic Party line of we're normal, we talk about the things that are normal, our policies are completely business as usual. It's the Republicans that are the extremists, whereas the Republicans, oftentimes outside of and maybe even including Trump, are, as always, still the Democrats 5 years ago. That's how these things always operate. I was very critical of the RNC, how they had an OnlyFans model, get up and give a speech. I don't think that the Republicans, if they want to actually stand for any values, should be promoting things like that. I also don't like that I've been seeing clips of Donald Trump saying that when he's in presidency, they're going to increase legal immigration to rates never before seen. He's going to pull back the illegal immigration, protect the borders, but also increase legal immigration. I don't think that's good. I think, again, that's demographic replacement through a different means that the Democrats do it. So I don't think the Republicans are entirely without criticism. I think they should be heavily criticized for a lot of what they do. But seriously, the Democrats are awful. You're not going to get any better, and it will in fact be worse under the Democrats, especially given that these are the people who are insane revolutionaries who want to upend your life and change everything about the way that you are able to live your life, and then present it like it's always been the normal thing. But Winfrey carried on to say that she was calling for joy and decency and emphasized common sense over nonsense. Let us choose the sweet promise of tomorrow over the bitter return to yesterday. We won't go back. We won't be set back, pushed back, bullied back, kicked back. We're not going back. And she described at times of having been on the receiving end of racism, sexism, and income inequality.
Oh, income inequality.
One of the richest women to ever live, whose wealth and luxury would put European kings and queens to shame, and even potentially her political influence through her media career, says that she's been the victim of income inequality. This is what we mean when we say that these people come across as disingenuous liars. Nobody is going to be convinced by Oprah Winfrey getting up and say, well, actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm sure plenty of absolute retards are convinced by Oprah Winfrey saying, I've been through hard times. I know what it's like to not get paid as much as my male colleagues, she says, dabbing her tears with $100 bills.
Sat on a pile of gold bars. I like as well that she used the word joy, which has been used by all of the left-wing press in everything. And she's also clearly picked up that memo as well.
It's probably that gender euphoria that they're supposedly experiencing when they take that first hit of testosterone. And if you could, throw some my way, need some gains. Anyway, and they also had the continuing worship of black women, as is the Democrats' real party mantra, which is we love our black women. They had Michelle Obama, who recently, if I drew a picture of her that was 100% accurate, I would get arrested for in the UK. Just to say that. She was standing before an adoring crowd, and she was referencing the parallels between her Black American story and Kamala's person of color immigrant story. Now it seems that the New York Times has decided to pull back on her being a Black American quite as much, because Donald Trump's been quite effective at going, I thought she was Indian. A few years ago she was saying she was Indian. She was campaigning on being Indian, but now she's Black. Which one is it, Kamala? She said her mother is like mine, and they say if you trust Michelle, you can trust Kamala. So I can't trust Kamala then. That was the gist. Most of us will never be afforded the grace of falling forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth like Donald Trump. Black Americans complaining about not having access to affirmative action? Are you kidding me? Also, the former First Lady of the country, one of the most influential people in Democratic Party politics, part of the family that was one of the big linchpins as why Biden isn't running for this next campaign, says that, I'm so oppressed.
Also, it just sounds pathetic to the rest of the world. I know this is an outside perspective, but Black Americans have one of the highest standards of living in the world. So when you're talking about being, this poor, impoverished thing, no, you're not. You're just resentful of people that have more than you, which is a human thing, but also stop whining.
Hi folks, thanks for watching. If you appreciate what we do and you'd like to help us continue doing it, as we are of course demonetized by the gods of YouTube, go over to lotuseast.com, spend £5 a month, sign up, support us, and go and watch our England Riots Roundtable, where we give our expert analysis as to why the recent riots in England happened. And of course, go over to x.com, formerly known as Twitter, and follow us at lotuseaters_com.